here. We're still working on it with Webinar Jam.
Still the offer.
There we go. Live. Perfect. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. Fantastic. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, all over the place on StreamYard and Webinar Jam. Really quick, if you're on the StreamYard, I'll put a little reminder up for you if I can find it here. There we go. So the bottom of the screen right there, that's where you can join this challenge. So we're currently on day 4. Welcome. We're getting there. We're about halfway through, which is crazy to say. It's been a fast week already, man. But if you're on the Facebook, the YouTube, all that, if you'd like the recordings from the first 4 days, or first 3 days, if you want to be able to be entered in the homework, if you want to be in the giveaways, if you want to be on the email list, all that is at tractionchallenge.com. Just go there, sign up for free, and you'll be part of the challenge. But Tom, how you doing today, man? Good seeing you again.
Doing great. Hey, Matt. Doing awesome.
Yeah. Tell me, how was it with your son? I know I saw the one video you put out, but give me a little recap there.
Yeah, we had a good time. It was nice. Get out there, learn some different neighborhoods. The way we initially started was I said, all right, let's figure out where to go. It's a fairly new town for us, so I don't know it all like the back of my hand. So first thing to do was go on the app and bring up, how it highlights the properties or colorizes them based on different criteria.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch had popped up for vacant houses. I said, let's start there. That seems to have a good density. So we went over and just started. And then, of course, just like you always do, you find everything. There were vacants, there were board ups, there was blue tarps over it, there were overgrowns, there was broken glass, and then, of course, right next to stunning new palaces. So it was kind of it was perfect neighborhood.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, following the playbook. I love to see that. So, everybody, let's see. Roger, my knee hurts, but nail down some leads. Oh, were you running for dollars, or I was curious on that one there. Loud and clear. It sounds like we're coming through for everybody. Perfect. Again, jump in the chat and say where you're watching from too. We have people who team up with each other that way. I know I sent out an accountability buddy, a little spreadsheet there on Saturday or one of the days over the weekend. That was a great place for people to jump in and be able to meet other people in their market, be able to team up with others and make sure you're holding each other accountable, and for the giveaways that we're doing the first one on here, each of those that requires you to do the homework to get the giveaway prize. So love that people are teaming up there and taking action. So welcome everybody. You should be here for the 7 days of traction off market deals challenge. We're on day 4 again, so we're about halfway. Awesome. We've got people, Kansas City. I'm here in St. Louis, driving an uncomfortable car. Okay. Thanks, Roger. Appreciate the clarification there. We do
from hitting the brake to not crash while you use the app.
Yeah, exactly. We do have people, they're like, jogging for dollars, riding bikes for dollars. Like they get their workout in the morning and do this. So, we've had some creative people for sure before. All right. Virginia, all over the place. Cool. Fantastic, guys. So again, through this challenge, we're giving you very specific action steps to take, how to go from, hey, sitting on the sideline to actually doing deals, and giving you that playbook of exactly, the goal this week was really focused on building your lead list. So building that kind of initial 100 rundown properties was the homework for this week. That number, that gets you, when we look at the data, that number really gets you to a kind of turning point, a really inflection point where people, when we look at the data, people who add 100 leads, most of the time, they're building off of that. They're starting to build momentum. They're starting to, once they follow through with those leads and do what we teach you today in terms of how to market to those leads. When we look at the data, again, those first 100 leads are absolutely pivotal, where when they take action on them, they market them, they stick long-term because they are starting to build momentum, get excited, see the light at the end of the tunnel, see the value in this strategy. So hopefully you're coming into this. We had a bunch of people finish the homework. Here's a little screenshot of the emails coming in that were from the giveaway, and the call to action being finishing that homework. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere on social media, make sure to go to tractionchallenge.com to then register to be on this email list and be able to follow through on the homework for the next time and finish up this back half of this for this 7-day challenge really, really strong. But it was exciting, man. Tom, your people are action takers, man. This is cool. So
that's what we like. That's good. Well, the whole point is implementation, or you get nothing. So that was the other cool thing we noticed driving around. My son said the same thing. He goes, "It was fun, and time went by so fast."
Mm-hmm.
And we were pulling down, again, having used DealMachine to direct us to a really good neighborhood. We were pulling down about a lead a minute. So, look, to get 100, you're in for 100 minutes. So, hour and a half, 2 hours, you should be good. That's not, if you just do that every week, that's not an investment you can't afford to make. Everybody's busy, but everybody can shave off 2 hours out of a week.
Yep. Really quick, Monique, I think you need to sign out and sign back in, trying to get on the webinar jam there. David LaBelle, if you didn't have a chance to complete this email or enter for the giveaway, that's okay for this first one. Again, we're going to have another giveaway for the next couple days here. We're doing a final live on Thursday. So, hey, you have a chance for there. If you're watching this after the fact as well, hey, you can go at your own pace. Still go to tractionchallenge.com. Enter there. You're going to get the homework. You're going to get the assignments. You can watch the replays. You can keep follow along from at your own pace that way too. So, if you go there, if you're on the email list, you'll just make sure to pay attention to your email, and you'll be able to get those assignments from me directly. So, again, Matt Kamp over here with DealMachine. If you missed us last time, I work on partnerships over here. Our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing using technology. I'm really proud to say we're the highest rated and most reviewed app out there for real estate investors to find off market deals. And the playbook we give you guys, for this challenge is based on 10,000 plus deals that have been done using DealMachine, and really specifically laying out, hey, here's exactly what they're doing to go do deals. And right now is such an exciting time to be thinking about this. I mean, anytime that there's any kind of slowdown, recession, you're hearing all these, financial headlines in the news about, banks failing and all kinds of stuff. Like, hey, in any time of uncertainty, real estate investors are more valuable. We can provide, solutions like speed and convenience and cash and all kinds of tools we can bring to the table for a seller. And that's our goal with this challenge, is to help you find those people who are truly motivated sellers who have financial distress that you can come in and solve for them. And, again, people are going to trade speed and convenience and cash for equity, for a good deal for a discount. So, Tom, do you want to talk at all about, hey, like why now is such a great time to be doing this challenge as well?
Yeah. Well, one, I think I know some of the photos I saw that people sent, there's still some snow on the ground and whatnot, but in general, the weather is starting to turn. So it certainly makes it enjoyable
Sure.
to get out and about in most places. A lot of people are worried about what's happening going forward, what happens in the economy, what happens with banks, what happens with, honestly, that's a constant worry. Everyone's always right. There's always something in the news that if you really want to be afraid of, you can be afraid of. And I said this the other day as well. To me, the solution is always to double down, triple down, quadruple down on your own skills. Focus on your own transferable skills, things that you'll use all the time, no matter what. And to me, that's marketing to find deals and negotiating to put them together. And so DealMachine's all about the marketing side of it. It's going out and building that list of people that are going to need us no matter what. And I think it's an extra good time to be doing this because as all the different markets across the country are now officially, now everyone's admitting it's been happening for more than 2 years, but whatever. People are officially admitting that they're slowing down or prices are falling or at least leveling off. Okay, so what? That only matters for realtors. For investors, it better than ever because those motivated sellers still need to sell, but now they have less options of where to go. So the main option they're going to do is come back to us as investors. So I think it's a fantastic time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now, like we said, now is the time to take action, to step up. And that's what our goal with this challenge is, to help you solve probably the number one thing that we see holding back investors or would-be investors, is they just don't know how to get started in terms of finding a great deal, or how to find a great deal, where to start, how to build that list, how to reach out to those people, how to make great offers, all of that. So that's what our goal with this challenge is. Again, this week, giving you the playbook on, hey, go build your list, go market to that list, go close deals. Again, the playbook that we're pulling, it's from our customers that we've seen work 10,000 plus times, deal in every single state. We've had people like Ryan Haywood here, who he went through a 30-day challenge in January 2020. Day 17 is when he did his first deal. 72 deals later, he'd been through 1 year of using DealMachine, and then he's done over 400 deals with him, his wife, and a small team now just north of Kansas City, Missouri. So, awesome to see like what he's doing and what we talk about today in terms of marketing to these sellers. It's exactly what Ryan's doing here. Cody Serzor, he's based out of San Diego. That's, like you mentioned, a market that for sure felt that slowdown probably about almost this time last year. It's been a little bit. But for Cody, he was in San Diego, really, found it competitive, was trying to wholesale there, switched over to Milwaukee where he was from and did virtual driving for dollars, which we went over on the first call here, last Friday. He did 2 deals in his first month doing that. And then as a full-time driver in Milwaukee now, building a list for him, doing multiple deals per month in Milwaukee. So doing it virtually. So people like Cody, it's pulling from his playbook. Matthew Weaver's another one. He did it from literally the other side of the world, from the US, was living in Saudi Arabia in October 2020. Use our virtual driving for dollars option to go out there and do deals back in the States. And then, have people like Patrick Martin here who are wholesaling to change his life. And, he was sleeping in a truck trying to figure out what to do. And he found, us on YouTube. He found the DealMachine app. In 10 months, he did 14 deals, did $150K in wholesale fees, and truly changed his entire life doing this stuff. So it's people like Patrick and Cody and Matthew and Ryan, all these guys like distilling down what them and then, the 10,000 plus stories we've seen or deals that we've seen on DealMachine, we've turned that into this challenge for you guys where, the first training, we'll do a recap. If you missed that, the homework was go build that list of 100 leads. We'll do a quick recap of that training for you guys. I'll show it inside DealMachine too. So that way you get the full rundown, at least quickly recap what you missed there. And really kind of refresh you if you started to go do the homework, or if you were just trying to kind of make sure that exactly what to do from that first training. And then for the next 3 to 4 days, so for the back half of this challenge, we've got today's live training. We have one more on Thursday, and that Thursday training is going to be really about everything from how to follow up, how to comp, how to make an offer, that kind of final stage to really close deals. On these trainings, our goal is to give you that playbook to help you overcome challenges, to give you the actionable homework each day, and then hold you accountable for really taking action on this and making these 7 days a really meaningful exercise. So I will mention David LaBelle and anybody, if you want to bookmark my email, if you are trying to do the homework and turn in the homework. Here is my email, matt@dealmachine.com. Feel free to reach out that way too. We had a few people who didn't just respond to my emails, but just emailed me direct with the screenshot of those 100 leads. That worked out as well too. But whatever you need to do to get it done, just bookmark my email and use that as a way to reach out as well. But again, during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to be emailing you pro tips and be sharing the shortcuts of exactly how to get this done. I know this week we really shared out that accountability spreadsheet. We shared out some goal setting tips on like, hey, here's how long you should be driving. I mean, Tom was a machine, him and his son doing it together. Like, that's awesome that they were doing a lead a minute. That's phenomenal. So being able to kind of goal set and figure out like, hey, how long do I need to be out there? How much do I need to be looking for deals like this? We sent out an email to help you kind of set those goals a little bit. And then, after all this, we're going to be doing, if I can switch over here, over $2,000 in free giveaways when we're all said and done here. So we're doing our first giveaway today. We had a good handful of people. I'd have to look back. I mean, I think it was 15 to 20% of people that even registered for this thing, not even showed up, registered, actually completed the homework. Like, that is a high rate for a challenge like this. So kudos to you guys. Like, awesome job. That was not an easy goal to hit, 100 leads in 72 hours. Like, you got to be moving pretty good. And so people went out there, they spent their weekend or today even going out there and doing this. Awesome job to you guys. The homework that was due today was, again, getting 100 leads. And the people who downloaded DealMachine, I mean, we built it to make this faster for you and help you find off-market deals, period. Help you build that list, help you market to that list. Again, we're going to go into DealMachine later to really show you, like, hey, here's how to do this step-by-step inside the actual app. So that way, if during your 7-day free trial exactly how to take action on all this stuff. It's DealMachine.com/Tom to be able to get that, free 7-day trial and $30 in free marketing credits to your account, which is, hundreds of free skip traces, a bunch of free postcards, all that stuff. So the homework today was to complete those things. Now, the live training #1 giveaway winner. Let's announce this, Tom. All right.
We need a drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll, please. Here we go. All right. We've got Mark Vito right here. So, Mark
Vito. All right. Good work.
Congratulations.
I haven't seen Mark in a while. Mark's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I believe. Mark on the line today? I'm not sure.
Let's see. I don't know if he.
Well, anyway, good work, Mark. If you're on, go ahead and pop something in the chat.
Yeah, if you're Mark, if you're on here, celebrate in the chat. If not, then hey, you're. Oh, there he is. Awesome.
There he is.
In the chat. Fantastic, man. Good stuff. So Mark, he won an entire year of DealMachine free and $100 in free marketing credits here. So that's over an $800 value. Going to be getting all that's hooked up for him. DealMachine starter up to 10,000 driving for dollars leads if he wants that in there. I'll loop him in with our support team after this and get you all set up, Mark. So congratulations again, man. Good work finishing the homework.
Good work.
Nice. All right. Love to see this lit up in the chat too. There we go. Congratulations. Okay, so day 1 live training. Again, I'll do a quick recap for you guys, really kind of walk you back through exactly how to build that list of leads, how to get in front of the most motivated sellers, which again, physical distress, the houses you were talking about, Tom, that you did find with Tommy, the ones that have got the, they're vacant or they're, boarded up or, tarp on the roof, all those indicators. That is the #1 factor showing you, hey, this could be a motivated seller. So that's our intent with building this list, is that it's the best bang for your buck out there, because you are building the most motivated list and you're building the list that is the least competitive to get in front of, because you are out there, you're driving around yourself, you are building, you're building a list of motivated sellers like this that no one else has. It's unique to you, and it has a barrier to entry. It requires you to get out there and put some sweat into this, right? So the fact that it requires you to actually, take steps to get out there and take action, it's not just a 5-minute list pull, like that is going to make it much less competitive in terms of the leads on there. You're going to find those diamonds in the rough that aren't being bombarded with all these other investors that, that have already found this person because, they're on the high equity list, or they're, on what have you, like something easy to access. So
Matt,
that's the goal.
That's one of the big questions I get all the time is like, oh no, I got to put a little effort in to get this list, or, well, that's not super duper easy. I'm like, well, good, because it wipes out 98% of your competition right out of the gate, because no one else wants to do it. No one else will do it. So again, you do that ounce of extra effort, and then you watch it turn around. That's why we're trying to make that ounce of extra effort fun this week. You get it done and go, wow, there's my first 100 leads. Well, it's your first 100. It's not your last 100. And you just keep going, and it becomes a habit and a routine. But think about all those other investors that aren't doing it. You're beating them right out of the gate, and that's what it's all about.
Yep, exactly. And that was our goal with the homework with you guys as well. Again, it's get 100 of those leads. That's going to get you that tipping point of really understanding this process and knowing what to look for, and start to really have good conversations with these sellers, using the kind of the live training that we talk about today, in terms of sales and marketing. So for this day 1 recap, let me show off this really quickly inside the app as well. You'll see right here, again, you can go into either the mobile app or the desktop version. Obviously, here's the desktop version, in South City, St. Louis, showing this right here. You can switch over to the satellite view if you prefer. That kind of shows off the actual, house view like this, and makes it maybe a little bit easier to kind of identify and follow along with the particular, block that you're on. But when you're on the mobile app, it's going to log on or lock onto your location. Just like GPS, you'll see a little dot where as you drive down the street, it'll even have a little green tail pop up behind you that's tracking your route. So, as you drive down the street, you'll see where you've driven and where you could drive next, to make sure you don't double back on your routes, and really you can blanket an entire area really, really easily with that route tracking. that route tracking is going to turn yellow in 6 months and red in 12 months. So that way you can look at the map again and say like, hey, where has it been a while since I've been? And, where did I do a deal before? And, those are yellow lines now. Like, let me redrive those. It's a good practice, kind of look at the map and figure out, hey, where should I redrive? And, where's my opportunity in town next? So the route tracking is really important. I know, Tom, you mentioned the highlights. That's something that, a lot of people, if you're on our pro level, you can use those, where if you click on the highlights button right here, a lot of people will use that to help them both pick the area of town they want to drive and also really identify, what makes a really, really good lead, not just the physical appearance, but then kind of scoring it even further than that and making it kind of a higher priority lead. So, I know you mentioned vacant properties, Tom. Like, let me click on vacant, apply that right here. And we've got a couple popping up right around us here. So as I drive down Juniata Street, I can look and see like, hey, is this physically distressed? And also it's vacant. Great. That makes it an even higher quality lead there. So
yeah, that made it super easy just to figure out, hey, let's start there. Because there's a fair bit of those. There'll be other things mixed in. And that was absolutely the case. So it just made it, we start off, if you go, where do I start? Where do I go? Well, just put a simple filter on there, look, see where the density is, and then go start there.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you drive down the street too, all the black dots around you, those are all houses in real life. And, you can look on the app and just simply tap add lead and move on to the next one. We can go in here and also look at more information about the particular property, like sale date, sale price, assessed value. If there's any mortgage info in here, year built. You can see even things like zoning and all kinds of stuff like that. So we've got hundreds of data points that you can be looking at and digging into here. But again, first and foremost, you're looking for physical distress is the top thing to score that lead, really. So I will mention a few pro tips we shared when you add the lead. I also highly recommend tagging that property. So when you hit add lead, jump in here, you'll see these tags pop up, and on the mobile app, it's really obvious. It pops up right there on the screen to tell you like, hey, do you want to add tags? I always recommend level of distress, which you can actually customize the tags on there, and you can put whatever you want. Tom's great deals, like whatever you want. Like, just make it have a little fun with it, maybe. But use those tags and go in here and say, hey, yeah, this is a really distressed property. I'm going to make it a higher priority because of that, and just use these tags to help you stay organized. And as we talk about marketing and reaching out to leads today, we'll talk about the tags as well and like what you actually do with those. So that's helpful there. I also recommend taking a picture of the house, which, Tom, did you guys do that at all? Taking pictures of the property?
Yeah. We took pictures. We went because we figured sure, we can grab it off Street View, but it's nice when you have your own.
Oh, yeah.
And it there's something about it that looks really live. Plus, the place might have a blue tarp over the top of it now. That doesn't mean it did the last time the Google camera went by. So, yeah, we took our own.
Yeah, I always recommend taking it if you can. Taking that picture, that's also what we talk about today, is also going to pop up on the mail postcard right here. So the picture that you take, and add to that lead is going to be automatically be inserted right there, and not just be the street image, but your own picture. And that's going to increase your response rate too. So tagging the property, taking a picture of the property, always recommend that stuff. And then, as you keep adding leads and you keep, touching the black dots and hit add lead and move on to the next one, all of those accumulate on this leads tab right here. I will mention the light blue dots. That means they have an MLS status within the last 12 months. So, this one was sold last August, so you'll want to know that data is definitely helpful if it's been recently sold or not. And then one last thing, the virtual driving for dollars. That was something we mentioned here, early to start off this session. The start driving button right here gives you access to that. So if you hit start driving, click anywhere on the map, do that, and you're off to the races, like clicking for dollars right here. So it's all the advantages of physically driving for dollars, of looking for physical distress. Like, that's the goal with this kind of virtual driving for dollars too, is, oh man, I can click down the street and I can look for properties that actually were in bad shape, and actually kind of look at them that way inside the map here. And be able to simply say, hey, yeah, if this is a house that, I think, if it was physically run down, cool, hit add lead. And just like you did in real life, you can do that virtually and move on to the next one. So, here you go. Here's the tagging. So you can go in and here's what it would look like on the mobile app as well, as click those tags and kind of move on to that next one there too. So we had plenty of people going the virtual driving route as well. That's something that if you're sitting in 12 feet of snow or whatever that ridiculous amount of snow was in the comments there, that's tough timing for a drive for dollars weekend. Here's what you can do. You can virtually drive for dollars, or maybe you're in a market that's less competitive, right? Or sorry, more competitive, and you want to really focus on, the Midwest, or, a more rural market, or what have you, or maybe you just have a day job and it's really hard to get out there during the day, and look for, drive for dollars that way. We have people doing that. We have people using virtual assistants to be able to help them really kind of drive for dollars this way too. So, if you're driving down Arsenal right here, you can look and see like, hey, yeah, here's a property with like a little physical distress. Cool. Hit add lead and move on to the next one. So, that's been a really powerful tool to help people kind of overcome any kind of barrier that they might see in their own local market.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Matt, I love the route tracking. Traditionally, I've done it with a pink highlighter and a paper map book. But
that's tough.
Well, because you have to. Otherwise, all the streets start to look alike. I can't remember what street I went down. I mean, particularly in the same neighborhood, you tend to have the same types of housing. You twist and you turn and you go down a dead end and you come back. Did I go left or right? After a while, you start to not remember. So, yeah, having the route automatically traced for you, I think, is a massive benefit.
There you go. Yeah, and I mean, I think doing this the old-fashioned way by hand. I mean, that's what David Lecko, our CEO and founder, did first, and that's why he created DealMachine, was to solve that problem. Was like, man, this is I feel like I can do this better using technology, and there you go. So
there's something just fun about it. I mean, I know fun is the way it's just something just fun. You're driving around, you're hitting the button, you're adding to the list, you're pointing that out. It's I don't know, I think it's good times.
Especially when you have teamwork like that. I mean, whether it's you with somebody else in the car, or you can also, if you're on our pro level, you can add drivers too. So I'll show that off here just for a second. You've got, kind of, here's that route tracker that you're talking about there, Tom, where you can look and see, hey, I drove down the street, this far, I added 2 leads, I drove for a minute. It kind of gives you a route summary. And, anytime you drive, you can just look at all these route summaries here and be able to browse through those. And then, like I mentioned, adding drivers, you just click your profile, go to the team page right here, and then you can invite by email and add drivers that way. And whenever they start driving for you, you can go to their routes too, or if you click on, drives, you can view a summary of their routes up here, kind of filter by that and say, hey, show me all my routes from Elliot. And when I click on that, it'll go in and actually show me, hey, here's the 21 leads that he drove to add. Here's exactly where he drove. Here's the route he took. He blanketed this area. It took him almost an hour, 3 miles, and made it make it really, really simple that way. So that's I would say if you're going to get really efficient, kind of take this to the next level, that would be where I would start in terms of next level strategies, adding drivers and building out almost a driving team that way too. So
yeah.
All right. So that was a quick recap of the first week here, or not first week, first day, first half of the week. Do you see any urgent questions in the Q&A here?
Lost track. A lot of things that I go down the list, Matt, see what you think.
Yeah, it looks like, let's see. How accurate are we with vacant properties? I will mention, I don't have a specific stat on that I can tell you, Cynthia, but I will mention we've done a ton of testing with like A/B testing with us and other solutions out there, and you won't find any more accurate data from that perspective. So, I wish I could tell you an exact number, but hopefully that gives you a little confidence in terms of
most of the ones, since that was my main target at first, most of the ones we drove by that had labeled as vacant, I didn't go stare in the windows, confirm, but most of them looked empty. When someone leaves the blinds aren't closed, you look in, there's no furniture. That was so. I don't know where that data is coming from, but it was mostly accurate for us.
Great, yeah. We have quite a few data sources we pull from. I will say, so Christy didn't find a few on the database. Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend. I mean, county record data is, it can be spotty. So, we're pulling from a lot of that stuff. We've got, again, a variety of different sources that we're kind of pulling together for you to view. So That's one other thing that I'd recommend too, is as you're picking an area to go drive, jump in there, kind of look in that area, see how heavy that data is in there, and really try to focus on areas that are up to date too. So, but yeah, I think overall, again, Christy, like comparing an A/B testing to anything else out there, you won't find a better data source from that perspective. So,
nice. And Matt, Jerry's mentioning he built a giant list and finding a bunch of absentee owners and out-of-state absentee owners and corporate owners. Remember, corporate doesn't necessarily mean a corporation. It might be a trust. Like my own home shows as corporate. All my rentals showed as corporate because they're in trust. So trust LLC, other types of things. So it's great. But yeah, good work, Jerry.
That's awesome. And then let's see, I see one question here, Michael. The 7-day traction offer. So if you do DealMachine.com/Tom, that's the 7-day free trial, and you can trial, our starter plan, pro plan, teams plan. Those are our 3 levels. If you're on the pro plan or teams, that's where you can add drivers. So there's that. Or if you do the annual deal, which I'll get into in the end, but it's 45% off for a full year of DealMachine. That would also get you up to 3 total users, so a couple drivers too. So you've got a couple options there, Michael, if that helps. But if you add a lead by mistake, you can just go into the leads tab. Here, I'll show you guys here the second, the actual, training for day beyond that recap. Mark, I'll address that on how to remove leads in there too. So good questions. And then
as long as it doesn't bring you less than 100, Mark, then we'll have to revoke the gift.
True. That's funny. Yeah, and Melissa, again, it's going to depend on where you're based out of in terms of the full data that you're getting. But again, like we're pulling from quite a few different data sources there. So, I'd say do a little bit of due diligence, like click on that area first to make sure it's it's a neighborhood that you'll see some more data in. That's a good pro tip. But regardless of the data that you're looking at, again, first and foremost, the number one thing you want to focus on is physical distress. So even if you don't know the number of bed and bath in a particular house, like that data isn't that relevant unless you are negotiating with the seller. And even at that point, you can do a little more digging at that point. So it's not necessarily needed until, your point Z, we want to get to point ABC first, right, guys? So that's our whole goal is like, okay, how do we get out there? How do we look for physical distress? How do we go from point A to B, build a great list, reach out to them, and then, you can dig into the data a little bit more too. So hopefully that helps. But cool. All right. Awesome. Great questions, everybody. Melissa, everybody. Thank you. So for today's live training, now that we know, did that recap. Now we know how to build that great list. Hopefully you've built that first 100 leads, or you're Jerry, you knocked it out of the park. That's awesome. Next step from there is marketing to those leads. How do you get in touch with motivated sellers? How do you get in front of them and really get their attention and start to build a relationship with them? And, a couple of things that we see, and Tom, I'll have you speak on this quite a bit too, because I know it's really your forte and you're a killer on the sales side, negotiating side too. But on the marketing piece, a couple of things. One, the follow-up is truly the secret sauce to separate from the competition. Like being able to consistently get in front of people. Like when we look at the data, if you're only doing one marketing touch point to a lead, even if it's somebody who's going to transact, even somebody who's going to sell that house, it's the great lead. It's somebody who actually sells their house. If you only do one touch point to that lead, it's about 85% or so of the time that you're not getting that callback, you're not getting that touch point, or you're not getting that contact from them. If you've only been in front of them once, if you've only had one attempt. And even if you have 3 attempts, you're still missing out like 52% of the time on that deal. And the main reason being, hey, well, one, people are busy. Like it's hard to cut through the clutter. There's so much out there. But 2, like you got to catch that lead right place, right time. And you need to be on top of their mind. You need to stay top of mind when they are actually motivated to sell, when they have a real problem that you can solve, they have real financial distress that you can then, bring your tools to the table and do some problem solving and help them. You got to be the right touch point, and you got to be the person that is, calling them at the right time, or texting them, or door knocking, or, leaving a door hanger, or a sticky note, or you're doing, your postcard directly to them, and you need to be on top of the mail pile. You need to be front and center and top of mind when they are ready to sell. And, the thing that we see helps put you in that best position to get people to respond to you. It's having a creative marketing mix. So, people are going to respond differently to different things. Like some people are going to respond better to a text, to a call, to a door knock, to, an email, like what have you. And then again, it's consistency and really the kind of two-pronged approach that we really teach people is short-term marketing, which short-term we define as one-to-one outreach. Like I would put the call under that. I would put texting, unless you're like mass texting, email possibly as well, door knocking for sure, sticky notes for sure, door hangers for sure, something that really takes this direct outreach to get on their radar, to really kind of get their attention, get in front of them. That would be kind of the short-term outreach method. And then pairing that with long-term outreach, and that would be something you can set it and forget, something you can automate that really scales with you. So that way you can do this one-to-many approach as well and stay top of mind with people. And, what we mean by that is, like, I'll show off both of these inside DealMachine, but postcards, like direct mail, is really the number one way to automate inside DealMachine, where you can send a postcard to a lead and say, hey, send them this postcard once every 3 weeks and do it 12 times. And that for the next, year-ish, a little bit less than that, that you will be top of mind with that person. And maybe you called them or texted them or door knocked or whatever, but whatever you did, that marketing method that marketing outreach is going to be there, and you don't even have to touch it. You don't have to mess with it at all. It's going to consistently keep you in front of them and stay top of mind with them. So that's where, again, this is a numbers game. You need to talk to enough people that you find the right person who is looking to sell and is a motivated seller where you can get a good deal. But hey, to get to that number, it requires a good list, a big list, and marketing to that list, executing on reaching out to them enough times that you are the one they think of when they are ready to sell and ready to make that call. So, Tom, did you want to add anything there on the marketing side?
I guess I'd just make sure I put an exclamation point on a few things. Absolutely the secret to marketing is I call it multiply. You got to multiply your effort, which is repetition. It's not enough to send one round of postcards one time. You got to do it again and again and again. You got to keep hitting people, just like you get hit with nonstop TV advertisements, radio advertisements, internet advertisements. It's that drip, drip, drip that's drilling it into your brain and making it work. So the same goes for us when we're doing marketing. We've got to drip, drip, drip on them. So you're building this list. You start sending the postcards, and you send them again and again and again, and that's when it starts to seep into their minds. So that multiply element of repetition is critically important. And the other point is the numbers game phenomena that people don't seem to want to do. Like, I think somebody had in the chat the other day, like, oh no, it's going to take that many leads. Like, well, okay. I want to say the number was, we said, but maybe it'll take 300. Well, if it takes 300 leads to get a deal, that's not a bad thing. We just had you go get 100 of them. I told you that might be in let's say it was 2 hours. That might depend on the area, but whatever. Say for me, 2 hours. Well, so to get 3 times that is 6 hours. People waste 6 hours a week on everything. They waste it on TV. They waste it on pressing the snooze button. They waste that. 6 hours can go so easily. So I'd rather spend 6 hours intentionally doing something, because I think if you want to do something, you do it by design. Otherwise, you're just kind of going along to get along. I'd rather you get focused and apply it into something that works.
That's a great way to think about it. So with that in mind, and kind of showing through like the short-term and long-term outreach together, and being able to have that multiplier effect, what we can do here, again, let me show this off. We can show this inside DealMachine for you guys. If you're on that 7-day free trial, awesome. Like, here's how you're going to act on those 100 leads is you're going to be able to go in and actually execute on these outreach methods. And if you use that DealMachine.com/Tom, if you use that link, that's going to get you, again, a couple hundred free skip traces and about 50 or so free mailers right in there. So free postcards. So what we showed today, a lot of that's going to be comped right there. You're totally free through the challenge. I saw a few people say, like, hey, how do you add your picture to the lead for the postcard? Christy, really quick here. Like I mentioned, when you add lead, you click on that particular property. When you hit add lead, you'll have the option. It'll pop up right there for you of a camera button. And that camera button will say, hey, do you want to add a picture to the property? do that, and that's what was going to show up on the postcard on the mail. So when I hit add lead here, again, I'm in the drive tab still. If I want to one-off do what we're talking about here and do this short-term outreach and do this long-term outreach, these two buttons are how you do it. You've got the skip trace button, which I won't do on here just for privacy reasons, but it would come back with phone numbers and email addresses and any other mailing address for that person. It'll come back with more information. And with that list, you'll see these phone numbers pop up, and it'll tell you, is this on the disconnected list or the known litigators list, or do not call list, or is it disconnected or connected? The known litigators list, it'll say mobile versus landline. It'll say, here's the the specific number that you're going to be calling here, and it makes it really, really easy to give you kind of premium skip trace data, all run down, right there for you inside the app, and then you're one click away from giving them a call or giving them a text or shooting them an email right there. So all of that is inside there if you want to do it one-off. Again, as you add each individual lead, they all accumulate on the leads tab right here, whether you're on the desktop or the mobile version too. Like anything you do on either of them, they all accumulate right here. And when I jump into this leads tab, I can do this either one-off or I can do this in bulk. I can select all on the page. I could select all 15,000 leads if I would like right here, and go in here and do lead actions and hit skip trace leads. And that's how you can get that information right away to show you, hey, here's that contact info. Here's the number to call. Here's how to actually reach out to that person and, start to actually, make contact with them. So let's see. The owner mail address. No, you actually, Michael, it'll send to the right address as well for you. It's just not that information is not going to be publicly viewable unless you skip trace as well. So let's see. Is it a good idea if the person doesn't like to follow up with the text? Yeah. So Cynthia, great question on the text follow-up. How I would recommend doing this is you do the skip trace and then reach out again in a multitude of ways if you can. Give a call, send a text saying, hey, I don't know if you got my voicemail, but I was interested in your property. Can you give me a call when you have a second? Or make it really, really simple and straightforward. An email, same thing. Highly recommend that. Tom, do you talk about like door knocking or like hangers on the door or very much whenever you're actually talking through like teaching people how to really reach out to people as well?
Yeah, the students in my Total Attraction program have instructions for that, and actually have a door hanger template to use as well.
Awesome.
So it definitely works. If you're driving through the neighborhood, it's easy to stop and run up to the door as well. So you can do kind of stack a lot of the marketing protocols and get it all done at once.
Okay, there we go. Perfect, man. So if you're doing that short-term outreach, you can do that creative mix that way, because again, people are going to answer differently, depending upon that individual. So I'd recommend doing kind of a fun creative mix of those things. If you're inside DealMachine here too, when you view that lead, say you skip traced and you got numbers to call and you can contact them from there. The next step from there is going to be start mail. And this start mail button, I'll show you a deep dive on the mail tab here in a second. But when you hit start mail, it actually gives you a full preview of what that piece of mail is going to look like. So hit start mail to Jessica right here. I can click on this template, show you front and back. Hey, here's exactly what it's going to look like. And these templates, we actually give you about 9 or 10 default templates inside DealMachine that are setting you up for success. Like Ryan Haywood, the guy that's done 400 plus wholesale deals since 2020 using DealMachine, exactly what he's doing is using these templates. Like they are ready to go, very simple and straightforward in terms of asking to get in contact with that person. You can actually go in here and change those out. So when I hit change, you can actually see, hey, here are the default templates. I can switch it up for you. You can get in there, and I'll show you the mail tab in here in just a second. But simple one-off sending mailers, and then being able to preset and say, hey, I want to send a postcard every 21 days, and I want to send 6 total pieces. All of that is customizable. You can just make it so that you can just set it and forget it. And again, stay top of mind and follow up with this person and give yourself the best chance to be there when the timing is right and they are interested in selling. So this is where you're going to see how often they're sent. Here's the exact templates that's going to send. You can go in there and kind of change that up. And again, do these one-off mailers like this. Let me pause this mail button. right here. So you've got, either one-off sending or do in bulk, where you select all on the page or select all in total and then hit start mail. And that'll fire off those mailers for you as well. So you've got a couple of different options there of how to market to those leads that you've spent, the first last couple of days building up that list. But it's the short-term outreach and then the long-term outreach through mail. Which, Tom, do you see any urgent questions, or I can jump into the mail center here actually too?
Let me see. Like I said, there's a lot, so I'm losing track. I know we'll probably go through at the end and filter them out. Here's one question that related to this from Jake. When you choosing which properties to send to, can you define a box on the map and just grab all the ones that were inside of there that you chose
for the mail?
Yeah.
So within your particular list, you mean? Yeah. So really good question there. You can't do the drawing setting like that, but what you can do is you've got this filters button right here. And the filters button, in terms of like understanding who to start with, who to mail to first, who to reach out to first, who to spend your time on, I highly recommend hitting filters and looking through all these different filters that you've got, where you can say, hey, yeah, show me all of the properties that I tagged high priority. That was my whole reason of tagging a property high priority, is now I can filter that and hit apply, and boom, I've got 77 leads to start with. Like, that's where I should be spending my time out of those 15,000. These are the ones that I marked high priority for a reason. Or, you can go in here and filter it and say, yeah, let me create a filter and show me, date added by, if you have multiple people in here, date, various dates, if it's on a particular list, as you skip traced it or not, a variety of different tax and mortgage information. So you can go in here and say, hey, show me all the properties in this particular, with this type of data set in common, and use that as a way to really know where to start. And, you can even go in here, property address by city or county or zip code. So you can get specific that way too.
Gotcha. You can pull them up. You pull them up by knowing where you were and how you tagged them, or any of the information that would be standard on a town or a zip code or that.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What, let's see. What's the recommended mailing frequency?
So I can actually just show this off, because I'll cover that in the mail center here for you guys. I know we showed off Drive up here, the Drive tab for adding leads. This is the leads tab, where every lead again accumulates right here. And I recommend working out of this for this next step of marketing to the leads and skip tracing and mailing to them. The mail tab right here, when you click on that, that'll bring you into the mail center, which that's going to show you like, hey, here's how many I've sent this month, and here's how many I've scheduled coming up, and here's how much I'm going to be spending on mail this month. And okay, the ones that I've sent, what status are they? Are they delivered? Are they in transit? Where did they not? Were they returned to sender? That's a great deal, or a great lead to follow through with call, or with a call from there. So you can kind of use this as a way to really track and understand your budget, understand what mailers are going out, understand, what you're looking at in terms of your mail volume. When you say like, hey, how often should you be sending postcards? That's mail sequences. You can really customize that. So, when you go into mail sequences, you can create a new sequence and say, hey, show me or send a postcard, this template, and then 21 days later, send this template. And then 21 days later, go in here and send, this template. And you can kind of switch up the templates right here. And we recommend typically roughly once a month in terms of mailing out a postcard and staying top of mind with somebody. To get really technical, where we see the most success is if you do it every either 3 weeks or 5 weeks. And the reason being that if you send it just once a month, it's going to come like same time every month. And, they for one reason or another, they may not get the mail then, or it might be more cluttered then for them, or, to switch it up a little bit does help. So if you do every 3 weeks for a little more aggressive, every 5 weeks for a little less aggressive, that's going to give you the best shot to be staying top of mind and reaching out to someone and get that call back. So.
Gotcha. And Matt, those photos that you're seeing on there, are you able to see the photos you took and choose which ones to place on the card?
Yeah, so that's all in there. And then you can actually customize the designs too. So if you go into postcards right here, that's the final tab right here. You can go in and edit these and see that like, hey, I've sent out this postcard this many times, and I can get specific on the text and the images. You can get specific on sizing, like 4x6, 6x9, 6x11, or even do ballpoint letters, which these are handwritten letters, literally by a robot, handwritten, which is pretty cool to see. They're more expensive, but man, they work really, really well. So that's going to be like a handwritten letter in an envelope that looks like that when they get it. So all that stuff you can customize, fit accordingly and create entire sequences around.
Nice.
In terms of other common questions we see really quick here too, I know the photo you take, again, that's going to increase the response rate. If you also put a photo on the back, so if you put a photo on this signature right here, you'll have that option too. And, we see a lot of people put a photo of like them and their dog or them and their family or just something to kind of show the person behind that postcard. We actually do see an increase in response rate that way too. So that's worth, testing out. But, as we go through all this, Tom, I know you're obviously, again, your forte, you're phenomenal in like the sales and negotiating and the conversation with the seller. Can you maybe give us, obviously we could do an entire crash course or whole, masterclass around this and that, you've got courses and helping and all kinds of stuff that you can do there. Can you maybe talk through a little bit more for people, like how to have that conversation with a seller and how to really, open up these conversations when you're going through and you're skip tracing and you're calling them and you're sending postcards and you're executing on the marketing that we're talking about today?
Yeah. The first thing we've got to do is quite simply get them talking, right? Get them to answer the phone, get them to call us. Get them engaged in conversation. So kind of the thing everybody should write down is that conversions happen in conversations. So you got to be opening up conversations. Everything we do with the marketing, the mailings, the postcards, the letters is to try to get them engaged in the conversation, because once we have the conversation, we can convert them. And what I mean is convert them from a lead into a deal. So the conversions happen in conversation. So we've got to get that conversation moving. If you're afraid of talking to people, I understand, but it's not it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be scary. This is literally a matter of asking open-ended questions. By an open-ended question, I mean something that doesn't have a yes or a no answer, or multiple choice. So you want to give them just the ability to talk to you and the opportunity and invite them to that. And that works. So I heard somebody. I'm not sure if it was.
No, that was great.
Yep. Oh, gotcha. So yeah, that's the main thing. Like open-ended questions, get them talking, ask them about the property. That's kind of not very threatening. Hey, sounds like a great place. Why are you selling it? Or what happened with this? And what was that like? Well, tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Like that tell me more question is a great way of, no matter what they said, you kind of reflect it back on them. Oh wow, the house burned down, and that's why there's a big blue tarp on the roof. That sounds great. Tell me more. And then they're just going to they're going to take it and run with it and keep peeling off the layers of an onion. I'm always using that phrase. Just there's always another layer to the onion. Just keep peeling it off. You keep getting closer and closer to the center.
Great questions in the chat too here, guys. Just trying to track this for everybody too. So I'll mention again, just echoing what Tom said right there. Absolutely, like asking those open-ended questions. Asking about condition of the property, asking about why they're wanting to sell. A lot of these things you won't even need to get to price. From that perspective, like you'll be able to solve their problem and get all the way down the funnel, and then price is almost a much easier, almost nominal conversation to have around that, because you've solved this issue for them as they've opened up more and more and more to you. So
yeah, what we're specifically after is that not that price doesn't matter, but it's not the number one thing that matters to them. The number one thing that matters is solving the problem. So when you're marketing for the right kind of people, which is what DealMachine lets you do, you're finding people that have a property that has a problem. Solving that problem is number one. The price is number two or lower. But as investors, price is number one to us. But great, if it's number one to us but not number one to them, now we can have a win-win, because there's not going to be a winner and a loser, because we can get our price and we can solve their problem. We can get both people's number one issues, and we get a true win-win negotiation.
Yep, there we go. Again, just going through the Q&A really quick here for you guys. I know it says, let's see, Francis said, I had a couple questions here. I have over 500 leads with List Builder. How do I go through, or now I have to go through each name? Yeah, like I mentioned, definitely go through and be able to tag those properties if you added them driving for dollars. If they're through a list builder, filter them out according to that data as well, to try to kind of score them a little bit to figure out like, hey, who should I be calling first? But that's the goal with this strategy is, again, you got to build that list. And the next step is following through and following up with that list. So it is a numbers game. It will take some work to reach out to your leads there. But hey, if you went through and you did those first 100+ leads with the week or with that kind of day one homework, that's, you're already taking more action than most people have. You're already, when we look at the data, in a place where you're putting yourself up, you're setting yourself up for success long-term, because you are understanding that numbers game and you're starting to get to that critical mass in terms of number of leads you need to get to that first deal. So I'll go through right here let's see if we can pull to this. The quick recap again. It's, a two-pronged marketing mix. Ask those super open-ended questions with people, those first couple, to get a seller talking. Have that short-term marketing going, which is the texting, the calling, door knocking, sticky notes. Mix in that long-term marketing with it. The direct mail, where you set it and forget it and send a postcard and not have to worry about it at all after that. And your goal is to really create a mail sequence that hopefully you can switch up the templates a little bit there. Hopefully you send every 3 weeks or so, but you could be every 5 weeks. It's going to be a little less aggressive, but set it up so that way you are top of mind when they are ready to have that conversation. And with all of that in mind, the homework to complete for Thursday afternoon would be 2 marketing pieces to each lead. So again, first 72 hours, you built that list of 100 leads, right? You got out there, you hustled. I saw a ton of people do that. That was awesome to see. You took action. You really, built a list of motivated sellers. And, if you haven't done that yet, then, hey, here's your chance to catch up, get out there for a couple hours, like Tom said, and do that. Once you have those leads, 2 marketing outreach attempts, that means, a call and a text. That could be a door knock and a text. It could be a door knock and a sticky note. It could be any combination. It could be a call and send a piece of mail. It could be any combination of what we covered today. The point is to get out there and set the right foundation. Get out there and start taking action, massive action like this, and challenge yourself and put yourself in a spot where if you actually execute on this, you actually do this, you are giving yourself a very good chance to be able to get that call back, to get that conversation going, and to start doing deals. So, Tom, what thoughts do you have here, or you guys ready? You and Tommy ready to knock this out, man?
We are. Now we got the list. We've got to reach out to them. Otherwise, it's just a list.
Exactly.
So, right, there's the next step to it. You got to bring it to life, which is great. So, look, this isn't hard either. You just got to sit down and do it. That's it.
It's not rocket science, that's for sure.
None of this is. That's the thing. You have to do it. Implementation is the key. That's it.
There you go. That's it. So again, we will email out this homework to everybody afterwards. We're going to give, so make sure to pay attention to your email. Respond to me, either direct matt@dealmachine.com or to that email that I send out before Thursday, because Thursday is going to be the next live training, same time, same link. So we'll give you, 72 hours again to execute on this. But if you can respond to that, you will qualify for that last live training giveaway. Live on that live training, we're also going to do another giveaway too. So make sure to pay attention to your email throughout the whole week. We're going to be giving away all kinds of goodies. And on that next live training too, we're going to be breaking down, hey, here's how to make that offer. Here's how to do, here's how to comp a property, things like that. Monique had said, hey, if they want to sell, how do we move forward? Do you want to kind of educate them, just kind of a quick little crash course on we'll be really deep diving on Thursday on this, but anyway.
Yeah. If they want to sell, well, we make sure we're negotiating down to a price that works. So you're going to look at some comps. You're going to figure out what it's worth, make sure we have that at the right price for that. Then you're going to put it under contract. Put it on the contract. Now, depending what your exit strategy is, I'm a big fan of just wholesaling, get rid of it and move on. Take your money and get the experience under your belt. You can always open up the other exit strategies later, but let's just start with I think the most simple and straightforward, wholesale it. So you would put it under contract and then start shopping around to your buyers list, a buyers list that you're building at your local RIA, a builders list that you're buying as you're driving around. Like one thing I mentioned in the video I put out was if I'm seeing a neighborhood where they're bulldozing the lot, they're scraping the lot, knocking the house down that's there, and they're putting up some McMansion or something brand new, Well, usually when those are under construction, there's a big old sign out front. I take that sign. I know that's a developer that does that. So I add them to my buyers list as I go. So you'll see those around town as well. You grab those and then get it to your buyers and match the right buyer with that deal. Schedule the settlement and make your money at the settlement.
Great stuff. Yeah. And again, we're going to be able to do a deep dive on that next call too. And we're going to really go through and be able to say, hey, here's how to think through that offer. Here's how to comp that property. So, the goal of this is to really start to have discovery conversations. Start to get to know that person, start to get to know that property. You're only having 72 hours to knock this out. So our goal is hopefully we can get you to start talking and start getting used to this, start getting the reps in, start to talk to people. And as you do that, we're going to be coming in again on Thursday, really talking through, hey, here's how to do that offer. Here's how to make a great offer and, have that ready to go. So that way you can be closing these leads. So, I will mention, go ahead, Tom.
No, our goal, gang, is to push you to get this done, right? So people, no one likes a deadline, but everyone actually responds to a deadline. So you got 72 hours. That's your deadline. And then there's some stuff to do, just like there was stuff to do for this one. Go out there, find the properties. Now we want to talk to the people, get the things moving. We're setting up the discipline this week so you can carry on and do it every week. And that's how you're going to get to the business and the life that you want to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And we want to give you that foundation, like you said, where now that playbook, especially after next call, you're going to have everything you need to be able to go through and make great offers and close deals and keep, and do that first one and do many after that. So that's our goal with this, is to help you set up that foundation, set up that playbook. The two special bonuses again for this challenge. I know we've mentioned it a couple times throughout, and I'll put this on the webinar jam here for you guys too. But the first one is, let's see here, DealMachine.com/Tom. Again, that link is a 7-day free trial and then $30 free inside the app. So a couple hundred of those skip traces that we showed off today, 50 free postcards inside the app that we showed off today, those mail pieces, all of that's comped completely free as part of this challenge right here. So make sure
which is double. I believe that's double from what it normally is. Correct?
Oh yeah. Yep. So that's
so people know it is a gift from Matt and DealMachine to you guys.
Yeah. So I want to make sure you guys were hooked up and like, hey, no excuses, get out there, let's do this. So we've got that lined up for you. Again, if you're going to do this for a full year, so if you are doing this, you're in the middle of the challenge, you're like, yeah, I get the value here, I want to invest in technology to make me do one deal, two deals, many deals after this, then a full year of this, if you go through DealMachine.com/traction, which I'll put up that link as well here for you guys, DealMachine.com/traction is going to be 45% off for a full year of this. And that would be everything included on DealMachine Pro, up to 3 drivers, three users, driving for dollars, virtual, all the map features, the highlights, the route planning, all that stuff. Mail features, all the CRM features, the comps, everything we're going to cover next week. On Thursday on the next live, list builder, that upgrade that we had a few people in the chat mention they're using. That's completely free for that entire, or that's included for the full year. And then $30 is lumped in there for that marketing for the skip traces and postcards too. So normally they'd be over $1,800. This will be for $990 only, where, hey, if you're going to go that route and you're going to say, I'm doing this beyond a couple months, I want to do this for a full year plus, let's do this. So that's the best link to go through versus going through our website. You'd be paying almost double for all that stuff. So I'll put that offer up on the webinar jam here for you guys too for a minute, and then we can take some questions and make sure that you guys are ready to get out there, ready to take action, ready to knock out that homework. So there's
the homework. Right? You got to email that to Matt. So Matt at DealMachine.com. Make sure you email it in. That way it's on the books.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So make sure it's emailed to me. Again, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, it's just tractionchallenge.com. Register there and you will be getting these emails from us. If you're on the webinar jam right now, you should be getting emails from me. But these, if you don't email me direct, and the homework, make sure to, again, it's take the 100 leads that you have and just market to each of those property owners twice. Again, could be call, text, email, door knock, sticky note, postcard, anything like that, go for it, and that counts. And for the homework, you're going to be able to, and it's just attempts, Cynthia. For sure, we would love if you got a hold of people, but this is about the process over the results. This is about, putting in the work to get to that result that you want. So, hey, we're just asking you to do a couple touch points here, and then you should be set up for success. So.
Gotcha.
All
Matt,
right.
I'm scrolling back through the questions here to see if there's anything. No, I'm not sure we lost Matt. Matt, you still there?
Oh, I can hear you. I think my camera cut out there for a second for you guys.
All right. This
ran over an hour, and here you go.
I can still hear you. That's good. Let's see. I'm scrolling back through the. I hope I didn't click the wrong button. Scrolling back through the chat and see if we missed any questions here. Let's see if there's anywhere like houses that didn't have addresses in the system. Is there a place to submit issues, or is that just kind of the way data works?
Let's see, which question was this?
It's going back to a David LaBelle question, some ways back.
Yeah.
I found some houses that didn't have the addresses.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just the way data works in some places. I will mention there's only a couple big data providers, and we're basically combining a bunch of those. So it's, I will say, like I mentioned, if you do a kind of like a baseline study, us between any other technology out there, we're at least on par with them, if not better. So like, hey, we're trying to give you as much data to work with, but it won't be always perfect. So,
yep. Well, and some of it is, people don't update things. Like they move but don't update it. They move back in and don't update it, so they're still showing it as an absentee owner or not. There's all sorts of things that can happen. I think what's important is to don't get wrapped up in any one property or any one little issue that comes up. I mean, worst comes to worst, walk up and put a door hanger on it. Stick a flyer in the door. Send a piece of mail to the property anyway, and work it out. It's kind of like my son asked me yesterday. He go with a couple of blue tarps. He goes, "Do you think that was hurricane damage?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe." Well, shouldn't we find out? No, I don't care right now. I don't want to know the story of every house that drove by. What my only job right now is to see who's motivated enough to respond to me, and those are the ones that I'm going to get curious about, because I'll find out the story. People that never pick up the phone and call me, I don't need to know their story, right? There's enough things to know in life. I don't need to know the story of houses that I'm not going to make a deal on. So what we're doing here is fishing for motivation, trying to trigger a response. That way, when they actually respond, then we engage them in conversation so we can move them to conversion to turn that lead into a deal. Although otherwise, I don't care about any of the little details or something being slightly off here or there, because it just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Let's see what else we have here. And Matt, checking you're still there.
Yep, good to go.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And I think we'll go over how to find vacant or absentee properties in an area. Donna's asking.
Yeah, vacant. So if you go again back to this the map right here, that's one of the highlights you can choose from. So this highlights button, fantastic button to help layer over data on top of your driving for dollars map right here. So click on that highlights button. You'll see, hey, I've got vacant already applied. Great. And here are the vacant properties popping up, highlighted throughout the map here for you. So
Gotcha.
You can do that with any, really any type of data. I mean, we've got, again, like thousands of data points we can tap into here. So
just change the filter and it'll change. It'll display whichever ones qualify for the filter.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Michael's asking that with the 7-day traction offer, if he buys the system, will allow more than one user. That's with the annual discounted one. That's in there, right? But what about the 7-day?
Yeah.
offer?
So 7-day, you can do a trial for any plan level. Just make sure you do a pro level plan or higher to get multiple drivers. Like the starter is just like the basic stuff for one person. The pro is all the bells and whistles for up to 3 people.
Gotcha. That works. And another question, Cynthia, how accurate is, how exactly accurate is the vacant data? You know what? It doesn't matter if it's exactly accurate. If it's showing as vacant for some reason by that jurisdiction, then mail it anyway. It might be a distress. The person might know somebody at work that is distressed. They might know a neighbor that's distressed. You'd be surprised how the ripple effect happens anyway. So even if for some reason the jurisdiction's reporting that data wrong, don't worry about it. it's only one piece of mail. Let's see if it triggers them anyway. I mean, I had a tow truck driver call me once, and I couldn't figure out where I had met him until I realized he was the tow truck driver that had, when I blew a tire, and I had written the AAA number he needed. I wrote it down on a postcard that I had sitting in my car in my kit, and I handed it to him to give him that. He wound up calling me about a house. It's just, right? Serendipity happens because serendipity happens. That's just, that's the way it goes. What does it mean when the photo of the property or the photo of the house is blurred out, Matt? Do you know that one?
Email me direct and I can help you out. I'm not sure what that is actually.
Yeah,
it could be a hole in Google's data possibly, but
yeah, I've had there was one street in DC. I kept trying to get the street cam to go down, and it's never there, and so it makes me wonder who lives on that block. So who knows? They do screw around with some of that. I don't know. Yeah, Gal, hit Matt direct on that one. Let's see, Mikey, Jerry, who goes by Mikey, which is an inside joke between us. Which Mikey's one of my most successful students, so Jerry is taking on that name. If you're driving down the street and you see houses on one side only, what do you recommend to see houses on the other side?
Would it be virtual driving or?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, otherwise, I'd say turn your head to the other direction. But that's why I don't know if the data's only on one side. It could be a shortcoming in the Google camera. Again, kind of all these little things I wouldn't worry about it. I would keep going to a different street and find more houses. If you don't want, it's just there's so many houses out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much stress out there. There's so much need out there I wouldn't get caught up on any one little peculiarity. Just like I tell people, don't get caught up on, you can't have deal one-itis. You can't get stuck on one deal or one lead because then you're missing the forest for that one singular tree. And so you got a big town, right? We all live in towns. We all live in cities, right? We all live near something that's big. There's enough things to go around. Even if you're out of the country, there's a town nearby. Go there. Drive around. There's lots of properties. There's lots of stories. Don't get wrapped up in any one of them until that person contacts you and is expressing a degree of motivation. Otherwise you're almost intentionally spinning your wheels, and there's no need for that. So just go for that. Let's see what else we got here. I think that might be all the questions. I'm almost at the top.
Great questions. Yeah, and
they are.
You are right too. Like it's a numbers game, and it's something where I wouldn't nitpick on an individual house. I'd keep going because there's so much opportunity out there. So
absolutely. I think. Oh, hang on. There's always more at the top. I didn't get there yet. Give me a sec. Okay, Jake's asking. Other than just saying, "Yeah, I did it," how should he show you that they've done the attempt?
Yeah, that'll be on the email as well. So there is going to be a little bit on our system here as well, but it'll be asking more for your stories on, hey, how are you? What's your marketing strategy? How are you reaching out to people? That type of stuff. We can obviously screenshot any mail sent or skip traces inside DealMachine or anything, but we'll try to keep it pretty simple for you guys. The big thing is taking action, and the real prize is doing a deal. So it's like, hey, if you win the giveaway, that's awesome. But the real goal is, hey, let's do a deal and do many more.
Yeah, let's get you moving because that's the big thing. And the homework Cynthia's asking, is it just the people that they actually got a hold of, or are we counting the attempts as well?
It's attempts. So it would be two attempts for each of your leads. So if you've got 100 leads, try to knock out each. Again, it's the process over the result here. We're trying to teach you how to get to that result, but if you put the right process in place, like you're setting yourself up for that long-term success. So
did I review oh, look, there's a Q&A only button. Look at that. You can tell I'm not that familiar with Webinar Jam. Hang on a second. There's Q&A tab only. Oh, yeah, let's see.
I think we covered a lot of those, but we have.
Let me see.
Let's see.
Who was asking that?
For instance, I will mention on the skip trace data too. It's about a 90% return rate of data, but like a 30 to 35% right contact rate. So if you get a couple numbers back, you're likely to get the right number. But Again, yeah, like if I'd say keep going for it on the skip trace, and then try to do a marketing mix. So if you can't reach them that way, you've got the door knock, you've got the direct mail, you've got a couple options there. So.
Gotcha. Now, sometimes, okay, I'm going through the Q&A tab here. Sorry, gang, for missing that earlier. If you called some numbers and they're wrong numbers, well, that happens all the time. So just see if you can find them another way. If they don't work, usually what I do is I exhaust every phone number possible that came up from the skip tracing, and then I mail the property. If the phone numbers don't work, you just send the postcard. I don't do it any differently, Matt.
One thing I do want to show people really quickly, actually, is inside DealMachine too. You've got all the you've got your leads pulled, right, and you've got a bunch of lists of leads here. From Driving for Dollars, or say you like imported a list of leads, you can do that inside DealMachine. Say you'd used our list builder, which a few people have mentioned, you've got that inside DealMachine. If you want to take the next step and be able to reach out to a list like that in person. So here's, like, for example, one list that I just popped up right here. It's got 63 leads on it. Say this was a list that I imported from somewhere else, or a spreadsheet I had, or, I pulled it on List Builder, something like that, but I haven't like actually drove that list before. You actually have this button right here, drive this list, if you're on our pro level or up, and drive this list. When you click on that, it'll actually tell you and import GPS into DealMachine and say, hey, you've got 63 leads on this list. It's going to take you 3 hours, 28 minutes to drive that list of leads. And by the way, if you pull it into the mobile app, it's going to give you exact GPS and go from here to here to here to here to here, and give you the exact route to take to make this the most efficient and effective drive possible for you. So that's a pretty awesome one. If you're going to door knock or leave door hangers, especially, like, we see people use that all the time.
Gotcha. Beautiful. Going through some of the other Q&A here, Melissa's asking, is it normal that sometimes leads, if they don't have much information for the bed, bath, the square footage, again, that's data coming out of the jurisdiction. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. That doesn't matter as much right now. Just send it, and what we want to find out is there a motivated seller? So yeah, you judge it on the response of that. Don't worry if some of that data is not there. Let's see. Ad pick works only for the pro plan, correct?
If you take a picture of the property, that's going to be any level. Any level. If you want to do like an auto street pick, that'll be pro level. But if you want to just do add your own picture like that, then you're good. So,
gotcha. More questions about if the number isn't right coming out of a skip trace. Skip tracing, gang, is a deeper level of search that you're not publicly allowed to do. So a lot of times the DealMachine skip tracing is going through private investigator licenses or other things that can get to some deeper non-public databases. So if there's not a phone number, it's not magic. It's not guaranteed to produce a phone number. It'll produce whatever it can. If it's not there, the workaround is to mail the property directly or go knock on the door.
Yep.
You're just not always going to find a phone number. 500 leads with a list generator. Do I now have to go through each name?
I was trying to address that a little bit earlier. Just saying, like, hey, that's the goal, is to build that list of leads. And if you've got 500 really good leads, like, hey, that's a great place to start. You've got it set up for you to market, right? So
so hit it. Gino's asking, how do you handle wholesalers who don't know their numbers?
I think I want to hear your answer to that.
Yeah, there's a ton of bad wholesalers out there, just incompetent or just flat out not trained, kind of giving the industry a bad name. Look, what I do with them is, if somebody's contacting me, I'll attempt to co-wholesale it, but if we can work their numbers around better. If their numbers are so badly off, I just tell them, I said, dude, you're so far off on that. That's not even close. That's not going to be a deal. If you get stuck, come back around to me, and then maybe if they rope me in, I'll go and talk to that motivated seller directly, kind of in partnership with them. But yeah, you're going to find a lot of people who just flat out don't know their numbers. So so many people get jealous. They're like, oh, this person put this deal out there. You look at the numbers sometimes. Some people are just literally throwing out junk to see what sticks. It's strange. Make sure you're doing good deals the right way. Like, we do a lot of classes on figuring out the numbers and analyzing the data and how to put your offer together so that you're doing it right and not being one of those crazies. Can we manually add data as to track it through DealMachine?
I think he said he's found it after that, but it looks like, you can actually go to add leads right here and either add one lead at a time or import list. Mm-hmm. And then that's going to go right here for you. One cool thing too is if it's a lead that's already inside DealMachine, it's going to condense those properties. And like, for example, right here, I've got 9 Brittle Lane twice. I can see a number 2 right here, and it'll show you exactly where it came from. So each different time, it knows I came from 2 pulled lists, and it'll stack those lists there for you. So that's a great way to look and see, like, hey, if I have a number 3, maybe it was a lead I drove for dollars, I did list builder, and I imported it. Oh, wow, like this is probably a pretty good high priority lead to reach out to because it's a higher number. So it'll automatically list stack it all.
Cool. And now I realize that was a question from David, and then 2 comments later, he found it on his comments. Well, good, but thanks for explaining it. I'm sure it was useful. Because honestly, one person has a question, is usually someone else that does as well. Christy's asking, highlight only available with Pro version. We covered that one.
Yep.
Gino's saying, thanks. You're welcome, Gino. And let's see, Christy, I think we covered that, right? The highlight button is only available in Pro Plan or higher. I think we just answered that, right?
Yeah, but it is.
It is, okay. It's a Pro and higher. Awesome. My question came across 5 times. That's all right. You got an itchy trigger finger to keep hitting send. That's A-okay. I do it all the time because sometimes there's latency. Let's see. I think we've hit most of them. I'm back in the chat. But yes, this session is being recorded, Nova. The recording will go out. And now, Matt, I think there might have been some confusion about the recording last time. So to grab the recording, you wind up at a page that asks you for your name and email again. But then as soon as you go through that, it puts you at this recording and it starts playing. So it's going to be the same with this one, right?
Yep. So we'll send that out, and then we could, I could work with you about uploading it to social and that kind of stuff too. So,
okay, awesome. Cool. And let's see. In order to, here's a fair question from Tony. So in order to qualify for the next giveaway, he hasn't hit his 100 yet. He needs to qualify to the previous level by hitting 100 and then also reaching out to them.
Yep. So you want to have a list of 100 leads total and then reach out to each of them twice, and then you've done it. So.
Gotcha. So you got to make up. You got to make up for your work there. Awesome. And then cool. All right. I think I'm at the top of that. Gang, honestly, if I miss something in the chat, it's sometimes hard to see, and there's a lot in there. So my apologies if I missed it. I try to, I'm kind of oddly clinical about making sure we answer everything. So I think we hit it all there, as the case may be. If we didn't, again, my apologies as we go. Matt, what else we got?
I think that's it. So happy deal finding, guys. Get out there. You got now until Thursday afternoon to get this done. Again, you can use DealMachine, either the 7-day free trial or the 45% off, links right there, DealMachine.com/traction or DealMachine.com/Tom. And, again, your homework, get out there, get that 100 lead list and market them at least twice. So you got this. We'll see you guys Thursday, same time, and it should be same link. And, excited to start landing deals with you guys. So
fantastic. All right, we'll get out there and just do it. Totally awesome. Matt, thanks for everything. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in a couple days.
Of course. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, buddy.